called French Quarter for Your Thoughts, and it is a sort of gray color, but it's definitely more of a taupey gray than like a full out flat gray. This was from the New Orleans collection. The New Orleans collection was one of the first collections that I didn't get like the full collection from when I was first starting out my collection. 2009, end of 2009, 2010 was when I first started collecting, and the New Orleans, or actually, now that I think about this, this might be from like the Touring America collection, and that one had like a ton of different colors from, based off of like different places that were like road tripping places, and this might actually be from that collection, but I know that the collection like was one of the first collections that I didn't automatically need everything from. So that's the first coat. It covers pretty evenly. There are some patches that need extra coverage, so this is a multiple coat nail polish for sure. So I'm going to do the second coat now, and this one actually does cover pretty fully on the second coat. It's a really nice OPI cream formula. I said this in the last video, but there are definitely some creams that apply like amazingly. They're the best, and like they make the best cream formulas out there. And then some OPI creams are just like terrible. Like they're patchy, they're streaky, they're impossible to use and all that stuff. So I don't think I'm going to need a third coat of this nail polish. Again, this is French Quarter for Your Thoughts by OPI. So I don't actually think I'm going to keep this nail polish, even though the formula was really nice. It's just not a color that I'm going to reach for all that often. I think I'm going to put it in the maybe pile just in case, but as of right now, I'm leaning towards getting rid of it. It is pretty unique in color, so that is the one thing that is kind of keeping me from just initially or immediately destashing it. So we'll see after this whole process if I want to keep it or not. So this is called Press For Silver. Again, this is from that space-themed collection that I seem to not be a general fan of in these videos. That shadow is me unscrewing the bottle. This is a frosty sort of neutral color. Yeah, I can't say I really liked this polish since acquiring it. I don't know. I have not worn it since I did that swatch video, and it wasn't that bad when I did the swatch video, but now that I'm looking at it in the bottle, like I just feel like I'm not gonna like it. This is the first coat. You can see how like brush strokey it is, so it's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, and I don't think it's really gonna be my cup of tea. But it is the first coat of Press For Silver. I'm gonna go in with the second coat now. It was pretty sheer on the first coat. So yeah, it is a little bit of a thicker formula, so surprised that it was sheer on the first coat, but that's the second coat. It does cover pretty fully on that second coat, so I don't think I'm going to need a third. It's so weird that this color is called Press For Silver, even though it's like really like a neutral color, like a neutral metallic. So yeah, that's the second coat of Press For Silver. So I'm going to destash this nail polish, as you could probably tell from the swatching. Not a super fan of it, and I think it's a really aging color. Like it's one of those colors that was a fad in like the 1990s, but it doesn't age very well, and it still just looks like a metallic frosty nail, and I don't like the way it looks on me and my skin tone, so I'm gonna destash it. So this is My Private Jet. Not that you can see it very well in the bottle, but this I bought. This was another one of those polishes that I bought originally when I was first starting to collect OPI, and I didn't know that the original My Private Jet was actually a black hollow. So I purchased this one and was like so excited and knew exactly why everyone loved it. It's because it is a really dark brown, like a mahogany brown with a shimmer and a hollow speckle running through it. And regardless of it being the original or not, I think it is so gorgeous and like such a pretty color, and it's a really nice fall color as well. On the first coat, it covers pretty well. It doesn't completely cover with full opacity, so you're gonna need multiple coats, but it's got a really nice texture, so it's easy to layer up and easy to apply to the nail. So that's the first coat of My Private Jet. So I'm going to go with the second coat. This is, again, My Private Jet, and it covers pretty evenly on the second coat, so I don't think I'm going to need a third. It definitely adds richness to the color, and it adds a nice base for the sparkle to pop out on. You can see the holographic sparkle much nicer with that second coat. So that is 2 coats of My Private Jet. So I'm definitely going to keep this nail polish. It's one of my favorites, and it's a beautiful fall color that I always forget to use, but I'm definitely going to use it now that I have swatched it recently and reminded of how much I do really love this color. So this is the color Shimmery Chic, and this was from the winter collection that actually Smitten with Mittens came from. So this was one of the first winter OPI colors that I ever actually purchased. This is a bronze base with a flaky mixed into it, which is something that OPI doesn't do very often, which, you know, flakies. And I love it. It's so pretty. It has also like a micro glitter mixed into it as well. So it's a really beautiful and kind of unexpected holiday color for me. Or I guess like winter color for me. It's not something that I would necessarily think as super holiday. It is a little bit on the sheer side. You can see with the first coat there's quite a bit of visible nail line left, and it's not, you know, it doesn't really cover all that well. So I'm definitely going to need multiple coats of this one. So the next coat I'm going to add is the second coat. It does add a little bit of depth in color, but it doesn't really get it to be fully opaque. It does pick up a little bit more of the flaky though, so you get the layering of the flaky between sort of that sheer base. So you get a nice effect with it when you finish your manicure. So that is the second coat of Shimmery Chic. So I'm going to go in now with the third coat of Shimmery Chic. And this adds a little bit more depth in color. It layers up the flakies a little bit, and it does fully make the polish opaque on my nails. So I'm only going to need to do 3 coats, which is always a good sign for me. Again, if you haven't seen the first, second, or third videos in this series, I have said this before, I am definitely a thin coat nail polish person, so I would do generally 3 thin coats. Some people do 2 thicker coats though, so if you are a 2 thick coat person, it would probably be okay with this nail polish to do 2 thick coats. But that's 3 coats of Shimmery Chic. So I'm definitely going to keep this nail polish. It is an oldie and a goodie and a favorite, and I have a nostalgic emotional tie to it as well. So yeah, I'm going to keep this polish in my stash. So this polish is called Warm Fozzie. This was from the first Muppets collection, and it is again a really nice, rich, warm, bronzy brown toned color. It is a super shimmery color, so I'm really into it. And it's fairly sheer on the first coat, but it builds up really nicely. It has a pretty thin formula, so it dries pretty quickly, but it looks like it doesn't cover very much on that first coat. I'm going to go in with the second coat now, and you can see that it definitely adds a lot of depth. It makes the color much more opaque, and it kind of amps up the shimmer as well. So that is the second coat of Warm Fozzie. It doesn't fully cover on the second coat, so I am going to need a third coat. So I'm going to go in now with the third coat of Warm Fozzie, and you can see that it totally makes the polish opaque on the nail, and it adds so much shimmer, and it makes it deeper, and it's just a beautiful polish. So that is the third coat of Warm Fozzie. So I'm definitely going to keep this nail polish. I've kind of raved about it through this whole process of swatching it, but it's so pretty and it's so one of a kind to me, and it's amazing. So I'm definitely going to keep Warm Fozzie. So this polish is called A-Piers to be Tan, and this was from the San Francisco collection as well. This is like a camel colored tan cream nail polish that honestly I don't think I have worn more than twice since acquiring this polish. It looks much more orange on the nail than it does in the bottle actually. In the bottle it looks sort of like a camel-y, like cognac boot sort of color, and then on the nail it looks much more orange. So I didn't remember that, so I kind of wasn't expecting it, but it's actually applying really nicely. It's applying pretty opaque in that first coat. So I'm going to go in now with the second coat, and the second coat is definitely going to be enough to be fully opaque on the nail. This is such a good formula, like I forgot about it completely, but again, this is one of those OPI cream formulas that's amazing because it was opaque fully in 2 coats, almost 1 coat, and it's a beautiful color and it dries pretty shiny. And honestly, I totally forgot about this formula and would have probably leaned towards destashing until I realized that this was like kind of a great color, and the surprise orange tone of it kind of threw me as well. So yeah, that is the second coat of Appears to Be Tan. So again, this is Appears to Be Tan, and talk about underrated nail polishes. I totally forgot that this was in my collection, first of all, and then I totally forgot at how beautifully this applied and how like surprisingly nice this color is and how much I actually really do like it on my nails. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. In a couple of videos, like Amy posted a video and I feel like Jess posted something about the color Ginger Bells by OPI, or maybe it was Zenora. But the color Ginger Bells by OPI came up a lot in my Instagram feed in the last about 10 days. And I went looking for my bottle and realized that I had destashed it and totally forgot about it, and was kind of bummed because it was so pretty on everyone in Instagram. But this polish totally fulfills my need to want that polish again, and this one totally had like an amazing formula. So I'm so excited that I rediscovered this video, or this nail polish in this video. So this color is called Susie Says. It looks really, really dark in the camera, but it is a dark chocolatey brown cream. This is another early purchase of mine. I remember I was hanging out with a friend and she was like super into dark vampy colors, and she saw this in a salon and actually purchased it from the salon. So I loved the way that it looked on her nails, and I wasn't one for brown tones usually, so I, you know, kind of broadened my horizons color-wise and purchased it. It is sheer on the first coat, especially if you use thin coats like I do, but it does build up pretty nicely. That is the first coat of Susie Says Da. So I'm going to go in with the second coat of Susie Says Da now, and it definitely deepens up the color and adds opacity. I would say this is one of those sort of average OPI cream formulas. It does cover really nicely, it dries really shiny, but sometimes it can be a little bit finicky. So it's like sort of, you know, average. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst though. So this is 2 coats of Susie Says Da by OPI. So I am going to do a third coat just because it didn't fully completely cover. Again, I do thin coats, so this is kind of the norm for me whenever I use this nail polish. With the third coat, it fully is opaque on the nail, and the color is definitely as deep as you're gonna get it. It does look pretty dark in like indoor lighting or like low lighting, but when you go outside it definitely reads very brown on the nail. There's not like a super red tone or like a purpley tone to it. It's definitely a rich brown. So that is 3 coats of Susie Says Da. So I am going to keep this nail polish. It is a classic for me. Just the coffee sort of color is a very flattering color on me, and I actually don't own very many browns, and this is one that I particularly have like a nostalgic pull towards. I probably will reconsider or just look over all the browns that I do own once I swatch everything in my collection and see which browns I do want to keep. But for now I am keeping Susie Says Da. This is called A la Bordeaux, the Sled. This one was from the winter collection, again, that Smitten with Mittens came from and Shimmery Chic came from. It is a slightly darker color than Susie Says Da, and it has a little bit of like a Bordeaux tone to it, so it has a little bit of red to it. This is also a go-to vampy color for me. And this is one of those colors that, again, it reads very, very dark on the nail, but in the sunlight you can definitely see that it's a red. You can see that already in the swatch. This is much more red than Susie Says Da was, so this is definitely more of a dark, you know, red toned brown than just a brown. in one coat you get a nice dark base. It's not completely opaque, but it does cover pretty well. It's definitely a 2-coat nail polish though. So that is the first coat of All of Bordeaux the Sled. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of All of Bordeaux the Sled. And you can see that it fully covers in that second coat and really makes the color really rich and just a beautiful vampy nail color. Some people, or someone actually commented on one of my videos asking why I do this little dot of nail polish first. It's because when I do swatches, it's so that I can see where I'm doing it. Filming swatches is like a really awkward angle for me to paint my nails in, so putting that first little dot down just kind of gives me a frame of reference for where my nail is, because and like where the brush is, because when I'm swatching I'm not looking at the viewfinder and I'm looking at my hand at a really weird angle. So that's all that is, if anyone wanted to know. So just like Susie Says da, for now I am going to keep this nail polish after I have swatched all of my collection and seen sort of what my range of vampy dark red toned colors are. Then I will decide on whether or not I'm really going to keep this or not. But for now I will keep the color in my stash. So this is called Germanicure by OPI. This was one of my favorite colors from the Germany collection, and it is a brown toned shimmer color with a bright red shimmer running through it. This collection had some of the most beautiful colors in it. Every Month is Oktoberfest is one of them, and I loved it. This is fairly sheer on the first coat, but it definitely builds up in 2 to 3 coats. This is the first coat of Germanicure by OPI. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Germanicure by OPI. As you can see, it definitely deepens up the color. I love that this has that sort of falling leaves brown tone to it, because it's not the same or similar to any of the sort of red toned shimmers that I have. And I'm not huge, again, like I said about Susie Says da, I'm not huge on brown tones, but this is definitely the most beautiful and wearable, in my opinion, brown toned shimmer that is out there. So I am definitely going to keep Germanicure by OPI. Again, it's a pretty unique color to my collection because I don't have very many brown shimmers with this sort of red tone to it. And it's very, very flattering. It's beautiful for fall, and I'm definitely going to wear it like soon because it's fall here now, but also because it's just such a beautiful color. So this is Germanicure by OPI. This is Wouldn't You Like to Know, and this is from the, I think, like Holland or Scandinavian or some sort of collection like that. And this is like a milk chocolate brown with a gold shimmer running through it. This is also pretty sheer on the first coat. As you can see as I'm applying it, it definitely doesn't cover, it doesn't have a ton of like richness in the color either, but it does layer up pretty well. So this is the first coat of Wouldn't You Like to Know by OPI. It's going to go in with the second coat of Wouldn't You Like to Know. It definitely reads a little bit more red toned on the nail than it does in the bottle, and that like definitely that deepens up when you do that second coat. This isn't particularly like a thick formula. It's definitely on the thinner side. The shimmer in this is also very, very subtle, so you probably won't be able to see it in the swatches that I'm doing right now, but I think it does pretty much cover in 2 coats, so I don't need to do a third coat. So like Susie Says da and All of Bordeaux the Sled, I am gonna wait to see whether I'm going to stash or destash this polish. I am going to see what other sort of light browns that I have and see which ones I like more or like less before I decide fully to destash this polish or not. So that is this week's Swatch My Stash video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I'm slowly working through my entire collection, starting with OPI, so you'll see another video next Saturday. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you guys soon.